Hello everyone, I am Tony Nguyen and this is my third oral presentation. Today I'll be talking about the evolution of Homo sapiens and how scientists have studied this process over the years. The best place to start is a few million years ago. A common misconception is that most people believe that humans evolved directly from apes, but they actually shared a common ancestor. The split between human ancestors and apes is estimated to have happened around 6 to 8 million years ago. Before I go into further detail about the split, it's important to mention how scientists gathered information about the evolution of Homo sapiens. Paleoanthropology is the scientific study of human evolution. Most of the discoveries were made by studying archaeological remains and fossils such as early hominin tools and footprints. Scientists support their theories of Homo sapiens evolution by showing characteristic changes over time from the age of fossils and archaeological remains. This split is presumed to have started in northern to central Africa with Sahelanthropus chilensis. Now, this species is classified as the first hominin due to their features which include a flatter face, a skull that is smaller than apes, and bipedal transportation. However, the discussion around the first hominin is volatile as a newer hominin may always be found. Now that we have talked a little bit about the split, let's discuss the evolution. After the development of the hominins, they slowly underwent evolution similar to how most animals would. Many different types of hominins became prevalent and died out as their specific evolutionary advantages became a disadvantage over time. At the end of this early process, over several million years ago, only two types of hominins would be left: Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. These species coexisted, but there are several theories as to why Homo sapiens prospered and became the dominant creature on Earth instead of Neanderthals. Some of the theories surrounding this is typical, such as disease or climate playing a role in their extinction, but there is also a unique influencer that may have contributed to their extinction. It is thought that Homo sapiens themselves may have also been responsible for this. After many of the different types of hominin went extinct, Neanderthals were Homo sapiens' main competitor in the world. Due to the Ice Age conditions, Neanderthals generally had a stockier frame build to be powerful as opposed to the Homo sapiens' skinnier frame. This strong build proved to be useful during the Ice Age for hunting large animals and surviving cold and harsh climate, but once the Ice Age ended, it may have become more of a hindrance. The larger frame required more energy than the Homo sapiens and was better fit for taking on large animals rather than running down animals in plains, which is something no animal can do better than Homo sapiens. Going back to paleoanthropology, scientists also studied the tools of early humans. This led scientists to discover advantages that Homo sapiens had over Neanderthals. Homo sapiens tools were better crafted, specifically those used for hunting. Their spears were designed to be thrown, whereas Neanderthals were designed for close quarters combat. This would mean Neanderthals must engage in more dangerous situations while hunting, making themselves more vulnerable while Homo sapiens could maintain a safer distance. This was extremely important as even minor injuries may be fatal without any type of medical care. Homo sapiens also traveled in larger groups, which provided many advantages. These advantages include running down animals far easier and providing protection. If a conflict arose between a group of Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, scientists have come to the conclusion that it is likely the Homo sapiens who would win due to the larger groups and superior tools that Homo sapiens had over Neanderthals. Scientists have also studied how it is likely that Homo sapiens were more advanced culturally, as discoveries had revealed primitive cave drawings and instruments. This is not to say Neanderthals had no cultural development, considering scientists have found they also had jewelry and ritualistic ornaments. However, they never reached the same level of advancement as Homo sapiens. As time continued to pass, it is highly probable that the Homo sapiens' advantages would take its toll on Neanderthals, assisting in their trend towards extinction. However, this is not the complete end for Neanderthals. Crossbreeding between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals may have occurred, so it is possible for Neanderthal DNA to be left in humans today. Now that we have some reasons why Homo sapiens may have become the last hominin, let's talk about how they began to spread throughout Earth. Around 100,000 years ago, Homo sapiens left Africa and began to populate Asia and Europe. The exact reason for this is generally unknown, but a popular theory is that migration happened due to resources becoming scarce within Africa. Homo sapiens arrived in Asia and Europe through Turkey, as boats were not the best option at that time. However, between 30,000 and 60,000 years ago, it is assumed boats were used to inhabit Australia. About 13,000 years ago, an ice age occurred which created a land bridge connecting what is now Russia to Alaska, allowing for migration into North America and South America. The result of these migrations put Homo sapiens on every continent except Antarctica. Now that we have discussed the spread of Homo sapiens, let's discuss why humans looked so different. There are two primary features which changed within the Homo sapiens population: skin color and facial features. I am mentioning skin color instead of race because race is more of a social issue and not solely based off of differences in genetics. Skin color is an adaptive trait in humans. In more open areas such as African plains, there was a great deal of sun exposure. Homo sapiens skin in Africa developed more melanin to protect itself, while Homo sapiens in Europe and Asia developed lighter skin to better absorb vitamin D, since sun exposure was not a significant issue compared to Africa. Another factor that influences skin color, which was particularly interesting to me, was diet. Diets with high levels of vitamin D, such as the Homo sapiens in Alaska, allow them to maintain a darker complexion in areas with low UV light. Moving on to facial structures, animals typically use methods such as smell or vocalization to distinguish each other. However, humans are not as keen with this ability. Instead, they are outstandingly good at facial recognition. When scientists began to research this, they revealed that natural selection made the genes responsible for facial traits far more volatile than those responsible for something such as height. This increased level of variation is what allows for human faces to appear so different. Now that we have discussed why humans look so different, let's discuss how humans went from hunters and gatherers to computer scientists. Although it would be nice to just assume that Homo sapiens were simply more intelligent than previous hominins, this is ultimately not the case. What allowed for Homo sapiens to develop to a level that is extremely complex compared to every other animal ever to exist comes from a very simple idea. This simple idea is essentially the ability to pass information known as collective learning. A typical animal may acquire a large amount of knowledge throughout its life, such as what animals or plants are safe to eat and how to hunt. But besides passing some of this to its offspring when it dies, its knowledge is ultimately lost. Humans overcame this system by passing information from one generation to the next as much as possible. This information would become compounded by each generation, making every succeeding generation slightly more informed than the previous, which led to such an exponential rate of development. As more humans began to populate the world, this effect would also become greater, as there would be more people contributing to the wealth of knowledge acquired by Homo sapiens over time. The ability for humans to perform collective learning is a result of the advanced language systems humans can develop. Although other animals can communicate, none of them can communicate with as much detail and precision as humans can, allowing abstract ideas to be described and understood. After discussing many of the different tools of Homo sapiens, I will now discuss how modern Homo sapiens came about from its early ancestors. Once humans had spread all over the earth, it would only be a matter of time before they would become the most dominant species everywhere due to their intellectual advantages. As each generation is succeeded by another generation, humans are able to be better informed. This allows for groundbreaking innovations in technology, infrastructure, and society. Around 12,000 years ago, hunting and gathering gave way to agriculture. Agriculture allowed for a few number of people to feed many, which eventually led for people to have a specialization of skill sets. Professional craftsmen, philosophers, engineers, doctors, and many more now had the opportunity to thrive. This further pushed the development of Homo sapiens to a new level of creating civilizations like the world has never seen. The freedom for mankind to diversify allowed for the creation of written language, mathematics, and history. With all this new knowledge, it was once again only a matter of time before the next great step in the evolution of Homo sapiens, and so came the Industrial Revolution. With this, products could be mass produced, famine and disease were less widespread, and in general, life once again became easier. This would then lead to exponential population growth, adding many more people to the collective thought of Homo sapiens. From this point, technology and development would continue advancing at a rapidly increasing rate with newer innovations every day. Thank you all for listening to my brief discussion about the evolution of Homo sapiens and how we know the process of it.